rain delay, even though the tournament takes place indoors. That is also possible. Yuri Rodionov and I had another tournament on the program this week. Not far from Lisbon, in Oeiras, there was a challenger. There were 3 tournaments in a row, and we were here for the last of the 3. My last visit to Portugal was in September last year, and back then the rain was a constant companion. This time too, there was no sun for the first few days. On the contrary, it rained continuously and sometimes very heavily. This Challenger series was played on 6 indoor hard courts in January. Several tents were set up for the players with several areas. Organization, the players' area, a gym with not too much equipment but enough space, as well as a restaurant for lunch were set up in these tents. The organizers did a good job here. Their premises were well prepared and there were also heaters to compensate for the sometimes cool temperatures. The arena with the tennis courts was also mostly in order. Only the rain caused some problems at the beginning of the week. The roof was obviously not completely tight and it started to drip in some places. It wasn't a major problem for practicing, but for matches it was obviously too dangerous with the wet patches. As a result, there were delays on the first day of qualifying. There was also a chance to see Mate Dodig again. His participation in these tournaments came as a surprise to me. I thought he would take more time for physical development and the preseason. Yuri played against the qualifier in the first round. This meant one more day of preparation. I wasn't unhappy about that. The balls became relatively heavy after a while, so the players had to adjust their strokes. Yuri certainly had his problems adapting, and we were keen to get a good feeling for the conditions here in preparation. Unfortunately, we were only partially successful, so the conditions for his first match were challenging, but that's also part of the job. In general, the ability to adapt quickly to changing conditions is always an issue in tennis. From week to week, there are different conditions in terms of balls, altitude, temperature and much more. Conditions can change quickly, especially in outdoor tournaments. A few degrees difference in temperature, wind, light and shade, or even on which court you are playing usually means a change and therefore an adjustment. The stringer at the tournament is also an issue, as every stringer and the machine work differently. There are players who react more sensitively to all these influences and a few who don't feel much. But the fact is, there's always a winner at the end of the week, no matter what the conditions are like. Until the first round, we found a concept for Yuri Rodionov in the practice sessions. This gave him a sense of security on the court and he knew what he had to do. The rain was still present at this tournament, with the leaking roof repeatedly causing wet patches. The warm-up for the match therefore took place under difficult conditions. His opponent in the first round was Rincon from Spain. Yuri played his concept consistently for a large part of the match. A drop in the second set was punished, but in the end, Yuri was able to win the match clearly with 6-love in the third set. Definitely a good start. In the second round, Yuri faced the young Belgian Bloks. Last year in November, Yuri lost to this player in the final in Kobe in 2 sets. We were therefore hoping for a rematch. The first set didn't look like it. With too many unforced mistakes, he lost love 6. Yuri was able to win the second set. In the third, one break was enough for Bloks to win 6-3. There was definitely more to be gained today, but in the end, blocks also played very good tennis. So this tournament in Portugal was history for us again. Slava Belinsky and Sebastian Sorga were in Vienna this week and completed another intense week of practice. Thank you for your interest and see you in the next video.